Hello everyone, welcome to your tarot card reading for the month of June. Today I have these tarot cards, which may be familiar to you if you're familiar with my tarot card readings from the past. I have lit a candle to purify the room. I have little lights on the candle as well as the flame itself to just cleanse the area. And I have brought my amethyst as well here, just because amethyst is a clearing and healing crystal. So I thought that would be a good one to take to our reading today. And I have amethyst on my wrist and some smoky quartz, as these are both cleansing and healing crystals. So today we're not just getting a tarot card reading. Also, this is the first time I'm using this deck. I have seen this deck before, but I mistakenly bought it twice since it was in two different packages. So this is the first time I'm using this actual deck. As you can see, we're all in order. No cards are inverted. So yeah, we get to use this for the first time. I also brought my Moon Oracle deck. I've been on the lookout for other oracle decks because I'm always really intrigued by the meanings and the colors and everything like that, but I have struggled to find one that I really like. So if you have any recommendations or anything like that, I think I may have one on my throne wish list, but I'm still looking for good ones. Okay, so if you want to just have a think of numbers, I'm going to start shuffling the deck. I'll pop the moon cards aside for just now. Pop them here. Sort of give them a bit of a twirl. Straighten them up and give them a shuffle. Now that they're shuffled, I'm going to, through the magic of editing, pop the 3 cards on the screen. We have 3 different stones again for you this month. We have one that's hiding under the tripod. So we have clear quartz star, we have this ruby and zoisite, and we have an opalite. Now, I don't know, it could just be because I'm very close to the candle, but you can see that or where I'm sitting, you can see the opalite sort of making interesting colors. And the ruby and zoisite, so it is ruby that has grown inside the crystal zoisite, and clear quartz is an amplifying crystal, which is why if you've seen my crystal grid shorts, you will recognize clear quartz. I always use clear quartz and amethyst actually in my grids, because amethyst is a good cleansing crystal, it's a good healing crystal, and clear quartz always amplifies the intention of a grid. So we have group 1 here, and we have ruby and zoisite, and these cards, perhaps just looking at these will fire something in your brain, and that you are attracted to these ones and you think that this is your reading, then click on that timestamp below. Or perhaps you're group 2, which is our opalite, which looks very pretty on this card. Perhaps this is your reading. If this speaks to you, click on timestamp below for group 2. Or we have our clear quartz, which is our group 3. We have much more cards in group 3. And if this one speaks to you, then this is possibly the reading that you need to listen to. So click on that timestamp below. Welcome group number 1. So I'm going to lay the cards to face me and take your reading from there. And I'm just gonna grab a card and read it as it comes out. And the cards will tell me sort of how many we need, and maybe they'll tell me, usually I do the moon card last, but perhaps that will pop up in the middle of the reading. I'll just see what jumps out. So, new cards, kind of taking a second to get themselves organized. Sort of need to connect with them. Need to connect you to them. So if you have a think about what you're looking towards for the month of June, again, new cards sticking to each other. I feel like that's more than one, but it wasn't. So yeah, if you have any questions for the cards, think of those just now. And if you have any worries for June, maybe take a moment to actively worry, because then an answer will hopefully pop out. So we have the Page of Pentacles. I'm just gonna flip through my book. Oh, that's right, these these cards do not have reverse meanings for the minor arcana. Lucky this one is right way up. So we have the page symbolizes fresh opportunities, usually in the form of a task, activity, or job involving some responsibility. He advocates tackling challenges with confidence and not worrying about the consequences. By adhering to this strategy, there will be a positive outcome. That's a very good start for you, group 1. So let's see what jumps out. Again, oh, we have a couple at the bottom. It was just interesting because it was like the bottom ones jumped out before as the top one landed wonkily. Oh, another upright card, so that's nice and easy to read. We have the 8 of Pentacles. This card predicts the need to progress with caution. It is a card of starting over, of doing something new, or a period of expansion, apprenticeship. So we have our new job here. Apprenticeship can be scary or demoralizing, and it foretells, if not a tough period, a time of learning and mistakes, doubts, and just hard work. So from our first card, it says new job, new opportunities, and this one mentions an apprenticeship, so perhaps that is something or like a literal apprenticeship, which could be, it's usually for trade jobs, at least in the UK. I'm not sure about apprenticeships overseas. Or it could just be you shadowing someone in a new job, or perhaps you've taken on a role as a personal assistant or something like that. And it takes some getting used to, and it's a bit of hard work, but from what we found out from the page, it's going to be worth it. And just realized they're both pentacles, and of course pentacles is the card of money, and if you've got a new job, it's going to be one that you're bringing home some money. Let's grab another card. See if there's anything else about this new job we need to know, or perhaps there's something going on in another area of your life that you'd like to find out about, or that's trying to tell you something. Interesting. So we have the reverse 2 of Pentacles. Seems to be money on your mind this month, group 1. So I'm going to have to translate as we go because the book does not have reverse meanings for the minor arcana. And it is a card that indicates the necessity of constant change in our life if we are not to stagnate. It often marks a turning point, a new job, a shift of fortune, or a change of home. When this card appears, it demands a thorough reassessment of our overall position and a willingness to go with the chances that come our way. Interesting. So, demands a thorough reassessment. So we already have the fact that we have a new job, and then the opposite of a new job is an old job. So perhaps it's sort of saying to stick with this one. Even if, yeah, perhaps that's it. It's perhaps, the apprenticeship that this card indicates. Perhaps you didn't realize it would be such a supporting role in a job, and so you're a bit hesitant. You're like, well, maybe it's something you've not done before, and hesitant to stick with it, and you're unsure of if it's the right fit for you, and it is perhaps maybe more hard work than what you're used to, but this is saying to sort of stick with it. And it says in its upright that you need to go with changes. So perhaps this is, when it comes to a job, so perhaps this is saying stick with the job even if it seems difficult, or stick with the knowledge that you have, even if it's different to the way they do things at your new job. Perhaps it's, suggesting, okay, so they do it this way, but this is your strength that you can bring to this job. And that's why you were hired for this job, because you have this knowledge, you have this new way of looking at things. Perhaps it's not you needing to change, it's them needing to change. And that's why this card has come out in this way. So I think your questions were all about a job. So we have all of this information, your new job, your new way of living, your new way of thinking to these other people. So I think we're gonna grab a moon card and see what the moon card has in store for you. So we have the Hare. Wow. It is an auspicious time for new beginnings. Now, I do believe we have a very complete reading for you here. If you're not someone that started a new job, or is starting a new job or looking to start a new job, perhaps you are happy and you are fine overall, and you're a bit concerned that you would get this reading. But perhaps it's not a new job, perhaps it's a new opportunity in your life, and that doesn't always just mean career. That could be something like a class to take, or a skill to learn, even a different dish to make in the kitchen. Because if you're anything like me, you make about 5 things, perhaps 10, and you have those pretty much on a permanent rotation. So perhaps you are looking to make something new, and perhaps, your apprenticeship is you following recipes from other people. And you're not changing, but others changing is perhaps just the recipe. You make your own changes to the recipe. Or others do a specific cooking technique one way and you do it a different way. There are definitely many ways to take this. I know I kept speaking about a job, but that was what the book told me. But these definitely can be interpreted in a different way. So that's it for your group and for the month of June. Hope to see you next month. Bye. Hello, group 2. This card just popped out straight away for you, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it for you. So we have the 3 of Pentacles. So I'm going to flip through. So the 3 of Pentacles is a card that teaches attainment through effort and marks achievement in the working area. It advises us to keep the pressure on, to maintain momentum, and to pay attention to detail. It sometimes marks a period where all energies will be channeled into one project to the exclusion of everything else. So perhaps there's something you're working towards at work and that's a big focus for you in June. Perhaps it's a time of exams if you are a student. It says keep the pressure on to maintain momentum, pay attention to detail. So perhaps you're sort of a jack of all trades and a master of none. So you're good at everything, but maybe you need to focus a little bit more. And it sometimes marks a period where all energies will be channeled into one project to the exclusion of everything else. So this could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. This could be just a temporary thing. And maybe other people don't understand that it's just temporary and you're having a difficult time with it. So, card number 2. We have the Page of Cups. Alright, the Page of Cups. This card stands for romance, deep feelings, and the inner life. In readings, the Page of Cups suggests that an opening may appear that stirs your emotions, pulls at your heartstrings, or brings you great joy. When you see such a chance, act on it. The page is rooted in a world of inner images, fantasy, and creative ideas. So this man is sort of coming towards you with perhaps an offering of a drink. Perhaps he's bringing you a full drink. Perhaps he wishes to share this with you. He's romance, deep feelings, and the inner life. And as I was looking at another tarot deck, it said that the page doesn't always represent a male, usually represents someone younger. Because the king and the queen sort of represents adults, people fully into adulthood. So the page could be a young adult, someone age appropriate, of course. But yeah, he's bringing romance. He also speaks of creative ideas. Perhaps this is sometimes you neglect others. Perhaps this is someone who might have been not getting your full attention because you've been working so hard on this project, but he's not, you can see by his feet, he's not physically walking towards you, he's waiting for you. His feet are planted, he's rooted, he's just waiting ever so patiently for you to possibly be done with whatever this project is. And speaks of romance and love. So he still has those feelings for you, even if your focus has been elsewhere a little. Definitely interested to see what other cards this reading brings. And of course I have the moon cards over here. We have, 3 of Swords. Swords are, I guess, at the back. So I should have said this for the other ones. So if we go back to Pentacles, the Suit of Pentacles symbolizes generosity, financial reward, success at work, and craftsmanship. We don't have any reverses, so that is good to know. Page of Cups. The Suit of Cups symbolizes romance, friendship, creativity, and sociability. So the Suit of Swords, which is what we just got, means strength, courage, hope, and peace amid strife and a successful journey. So the Three of Swords, in this deck, this is called the Lord of Sorrow. So the Lord of Sorrow almost always indicates some sort of disruption, which will cause pain and uncertainty. Such disruption leads to a loss of balance and disharmony. So that makes sense. Doesn't quite make sense for the order. I would put those there. So we have disruption and sorrow and things. So interestingly, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's perhaps why this man, he's got his eyebrows raised sort of like in question slightly, but his face, this expression on his lips is quite passive. So he's kind of, eyebrows raised, like passive. Facial expression is like, okay, I'm here whenever you need me, which is very good considering we do have the disruption and this sense of disharmony, which is probably caused by work. But we have our very patient Page of Cups waiting for these 3 things to pass. Perhaps also when we have 3, perhaps this could mean the 3rd week of June. Perhaps that is sort of when these things will come to an end. I know that schools start to finish sort of, at least in Scotland. I'm not sure. I know England is different. I think they finish later, and I think America finishes earlier, or the US. So in Scotland, we, like me, sort of when exams finish is about the 3rd week of May. So perhaps that's what the 3 is representing after those first 2 busy weeks with exams, with end of school year sorts of things. Maybe that is when you can go to this page. This works very well if you're a teenager because, as I said, a page represents a young person. So it's a young person waiting for you, but could apply if you are in the working world. Perhaps you're sort of busy working through a project and the deadline is the 3rd week, and you have perhaps some long awaited time off or just some R&R. Perhaps it's your extra hours that you're working. Perhaps you're working 3 extra hours every day, but you still have someone that you come home to that is happy to see you, perhaps with a celebratory glass of wine or something at the end of a long, tiring, busy day. I feel like we need one more card. No, do you know what? We have 3, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to leave those cards. I am going to grab you a moon card. We have the Owl. A crisis will allow you to look into yourself and make an important revelation. So, yeah, I can see where this fits. It's perhaps the busyness. You have the disruption and things, and something happens, and you realize that what's really important is not the work, not the craziness. I'm just gonna grab my book because I have terrible memory. Attainment through effort marks achievement in the working area. So perhaps you realize, like, you've got your crisis that happens, and Perhaps you realize that, hey, work is not going to be there if something bad happens, but this person will be. And again, cups refers to friendship as well as a romantic relationship. Perhaps this is not a handsome young man waiting for you. Perhaps this is your bestie, just like at the end of a tough week. Like, hey, I see you've had it hard. Let's go and get something. You know, again, goblet is not. It could be tea. You could go and have tea with your bestie. You could go, and it could be wine. Could be a very large cup of coffee. It could be something even more stiff that you may need. But yeah, I think it's, you know, you realize, I think the owl sort of helps you to realize that there are more important things than just attaining things through work. That's not to say don't try for it, but some of us get a bit bogged down in thinking about work, and even when you get home at night you're thinking about work, and at the end of the day the work is going to be there for you the very next day, and thinking about it's not going to make it any easier when you go back in. And perhaps that's what the owl is trying to tell you, especially considering an owl is nocturnal. It's awake all night, like you may be if you're thinking about difficulties at work. But it's like, no, I'll be awake at night. You're supposed to sleep. You're supposed to rest. And that's what the owl's trying to tell you. So I hope you enjoyed your reading and you found it useful. And I hope to see you again next month. Bye. Hello, Group 3. Let's see what awaits you in June, shall we? So just sort of have a think about what you'd like to know more about, what questions you may have. Don't know what was happening with that shuffle, but interesting. We have Justice. She is in reverse as I'm reading it. Just going to. So, Justice in reverse represents injustice, which I'm sure you could have guessed, indecision, and difficult adjustments. So let's grab another card to see what you're having difficulty adjusting to, or what might be an injustice. Sorry, leapt off. So we have the Devil. Interesting that you would pull two major arcana cards. The Devil symbolizes self-indulgence, greed, controversy, and a self-preservation instinct. It can also mean temptation, lust, narrowness, animal nature, danger, ambition, and obsession. So, you're not going through a great time in the month of June. There's injustices, but it speaks about self-indulgence, but that may not be your own self-indulgence. Usually it is, because, I mean, this is looking down on a man. This could be you, as it is following our point of view, but this could also be someone else that you're seeing is facing injustice. But perhaps that is as a result of greed or self-indulgence, but it could be some sort of controversy that is happening and the injustice is happening to them. But again, we've got temptation, because obviously we know that the old stories, even if you only know it from The Simpsons, is that temptation leads you to the devil. And even lust, you know, the deadly sins, things like that. So yeah, perhaps I guess that's where self-indulgence comes from. So, if you put the two cards together, perhaps the punishment that this person is facing at the hands of the devil is not to do with any of the things I've just said. Perhaps there's something more at play here. I'm interested to see what it is, because this is a strange one. This one is popping out. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So this is person. We have a little... The minor arcana cards don't say a reverse reading, but we do have, in general, for the Suit of Wands, the reverse is disrupted work, laziness, ignorance, and romantic jealousy. Perhaps this is like sort of the source of the problems. If we go to the Knight of Wands, so it's speaking of a challenge. In the reverse, it's speaking of a challenge. It's speaking to standing up to something, confronting your feelings. So even though there's injustice and there is sort of this, we spoke about sinning, obsession and things like that, self-indulgence, perhaps this is you sort of owning up to it. You've seen there's injustice, and this is you. You've seen that there are bad things perhaps happening because of the way that you are handling things, and so you're gonna stand up to it. Now, you're the first group that I'm definitely going to take a fourth card for, because this is definitely not a complete reading. Even if we were to grab a moon card, I wouldn't feel like we have what we need. Alright. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse. So, in reverse, the cups in general speaks about jealousy, pain, rejection, excessive love of luxury. So again, we're speaking about sins and gluttony and greed, I think. And preoccupation with oneself. So there we have, again, self-indulgence. The 8. So in the upright position, it speaks of a separation or divorce. So in the reverse position, we have something coming together, people coming together. So again, in the upright position, which this is not, it speaks about a move or a trip, particularly somewhere unknown. So I guess this is sort of you staying where you are. We have, obviously, it mentioned about self-indulgence and things. And so perhaps you've confronted the injustice and the self-indulgence, but you've realized that maybe that's how you want it to be. You're staying in the same place. You're coming together with someone else. Or you're staying with someone else. You're sort of just like sticking in your place. Maybe you're a bit stubborn. So you're sticking by that. Still not convinced this reading is complete. I'm just gonna grab another card. But perhaps you're being stubborn and you're sticking with it because you know it works. But then injustice sort of makes me wonder why. Like, if you can see that something is not just, why are you not changing your ways? So I'm going to ask the cards, why are they not changing their ways? Or have I read that wrong? So yeah, this one's popped out of the bottom again. Huh. well, I do believe I've read that wrong. Also, isn't this card absolutely gorgeous? So the moon, you can see that there's the full moon, but also we have the crescent moon. And the funny thing about the moon is that it is always changing. And this card indicated to me that everything was staying the same. So let's grab the meaning of the moon card. This is the card of the subconscious. So again, I reckon like all of these things, perhaps not so much this one, a little bit, are to do with one's subconscious. So this is the card of the subconscious and refers to those things which are hidden and sometimes feared. It represents imagination, uncertainty, and fluctuation. So perhaps it says things that you want to remain hidden. So maybe it's like, I'm not going to tell you why group 3 does not want to change. But then it says again about fluctuation. Obviously, the moon moves the water, moves the tides, changes the flow of everything. And as I said before, the moon changes all the time, so fluctuation. So perhaps this is just you sort of going through a rough time. Things that have been mentioned also sort of speak of poor mental health to me, because I know that sometimes when one is depressed, you can feel like they're looking at the devil, and the devil is their own brain, and can lead, if you're experiencing poor mental health, it can lead to some things like self-indulgence to try and help you to make you feel better. Again, we've got like fluctuation and confronting things, which may mean that you've sort of decided that you want to do something about it, but then again, then things changed again, and then we have fluctuation. It's just sort of up and down and up and down. And so could be, I don't know, just mental ill health just came to me, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people experience, even if, they keep it shuttered up inside. So yeah, perhaps it's best to sort of go confront your feelings. To stop sort of feeling this sense of injustice, to stop feel like you're constantly staring at an entity that wants to hurt you. Yeah, we have, and I think when you're going through a bad period of like poor mental health, speaking from experience, so not being what's the word? Preachy, I guess. Everything can feel like it's sort of against you, and then it can feel like an injustice, and everything can feel like, you're looking at the literal devil every day. Feel like waking up in the morning can feel like that, and you're like, I just want to hide again. But things do turn around, and the Knight of Wands is you, or perhaps someone else coming to help you to confront these feelings, and perhaps to help you sort of deal with them. Hopefully in a better way than just like wielding a weapon. And also obviously we have the symbolism of cups being emptied, and it's been around for quite a while now, but you can't pour from an empty cup, so you can't give people your energy if your cups are empty. And obviously these are upside, they're shaken out, that you have no energy in your own cups. You don't have anything to share with others, so you're feeling very empty at the moment. but the moon fluctuates. It changes every day, every night. So that's perhaps how your mood is feeling, and so you're struggling a little bit with that. But what's interesting is that it's a moon card, and I have my moon cards with me. So I'm gonna see what sort of advice the moon gives you for this month. Something that can, hopefully perk you up, or that can help you with these rough times. We have Moon in Cancer. Spend time with family or helping others. Avoid situations that can be a drain on your emotions. So, yeah. I feel like a lot of situations are a drain on emotions if you're going through a rough patch emotionally. Hopefully, it speaks of family or helping others. So remember, family isn't just people you're related to by blood. It's people that you choose to be part of your life. Because I know that perhaps mental ill health can be caused by family. So we don't want to go near those people if those are what's causing all the injustice and the, perhaps speaking to certain members of the family feel like you're literally staring at the devil. So we don't want to go near those people, but your own family that you've made, your friends, your co-workers even are a little family, classmates, your pets, your plants, anything can make up a family. So, and even if you feel like there's no one that sort of, that you feel like you'd be able to talk to closely as a family member, then there's maybe someone that you're not thinking of. But even if there's not, you can spend some time helping others. And I know helping someone else can feel difficult when you feel like you can't even help yourself. But then there's also, perhaps, I found this with myself, there's a part of you that you can do something if it's for someone else, but you can't do it for yourself because, it's possibly the self-sabotage part of mental ill health, but, you can do it for someone else. You like to see them smile, but if you do it for yourself, then, it's not a big a deal, but if you, as big a deal, but if you help someone else, sometimes that can be the thing that makes you feel like you have a bit of a purpose, makes you feel like you've achieved something. But perhaps even helping yourself. I think I might have said this in a video before, reading before, but I remember seeing something about mental health and about how, doing a whole task can seem really daunting. So doing a whole sink of dishes may be super daunting, and you put it off and then it makes you feel worse. So even if you do one dish, you have ticked one thing off the list, you've accomplished something. So, even doing something small, and that's something that's going to help you, even if you can't, face up to brushing your teeth for the full 2 minutes. If you do it for 20 seconds, you still left everything better than it was before. So I am certain I have mentioned this before. perhaps you were part of that group as well. And if you were, and if you are struggling with your mental health, then definitely reach out to someone. Reach out to me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I know exactly how it feels. So, and I'm sure if you look around, there are plenty of people who know how it feels. Maybe they're not, they hide it, like the moon says. But I'm sure that you'll find someone who understands just what you're going through if you just reach out, spend time with family. But yes, avoid situations that can be a drain on your emotions, because there are already enough things that drain our emotions. You don't need to be around the kind of people that would do that. But yeah, even being outside in the northern hemisphere, at least it has been much nicer weather than previously. So even being outside, watching the bees, smelling the flowers, sounds cheesy, but man, it's really nice. Feeling the wind in your hair, or your Rachel from Friends, feeling the wind in your arms. Anyway, before we go down a rabbit hole, I hope that this month is good to you. Hope you're good to yourself, and hope to see you next month.